hello, and thanks for joining us. Joining us today is Mike Paustian, the president of the Iowa Pork Producers Association, a sixth-generation farmer in Scott County. Mike, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
You are president at a time when your industry and really the nation is going through something that we've never seen before, and there have been significant impacts. Walk me through what it's like to be a farmer today under COVID-19.
Sure. Farmers by nature are planners. We always have to have a plan for, what's gonna happen next. And if you're talking about pigs, that's usually a 10-month plan from the time from conception to market. It's a 10-month process, and so we're always planning for the future. We're always trying to keep on top of what's next. Well, unfortunately, with the scale of the disruptions to the pork supply chain, all that planning has kind of gone out the window, unfortunately. And it's made it, very tough and stressful situation for most pork producers because now we're finding ourselves basically just going day to day.
The backup of pigs on the farm means that farmers are having to make some very heart-wrenching decisions. How are those decisions made, and who makes those decisions?
The magnitude of this disruption means, in Iowa, we're estimating we have over 600,000 pigs that are backed up on farms. And unfortunately, farmers only have so much room to accommodate all those pigs. And so we're all being creative and trying to find ways to accommodate that. But at the same time, we're also not willing to sacrifice the welfare of the animals. We have to make sure that they're comfortable, they have enough access to food and water. And if it gets to a point where we can't do that anymore, then unfortunately some farmers are having to make the gut-wrenching decision to euthanize some of their animals. And believe me, that's done after every possible option has been exhausted. And farmers who do have to do that are doing it in consultation with their veterinarian to make sure it's done humanely. And then they're also working with the DNR and with the Iowa Department of Agriculture to make sure that the animals are disposed of properly.
In addition to the emotional cost of making such a tough decision, I imagine there's also a financial cost as well. Do you have any idea of the financial implications of COVID-19 since you're not able to bring your pigs to market?
Yes, right now, the economists who've crunched the numbers on this have estimated that producers are going to lose about $39 for every pig that they are able to take to market. It's certainly economically devastating, but really, as you mentioned, the emotional toll that this is going to have on producers is going to go far beyond the economic pain.
I think the American public has really gotten a front row seat to processing plants and really the entire food supply chain going through the COVID-19 pandemic, and seeing how with so many workers getting sick and the shutdown of those plants, I mean, just really the dramatic ripple effect. I know a lot of plants are reopening and there's comprehensive testing going on. But what are your thoughts with regard to those processing plants and the workers in those plants?
Certainly the safety and health of the workers in the plants is our number one concern. And, I'm really glad that they've been able to put proper measures in place to help protect the workers and to make sure that they can keep going to work and still stay healthy, because I think we've all seen through this how reliant we are on the skills of those who are working in the packing plants. We're on the farm, we're really good at raising pigs, but that's our specialized skill set. and the folks who are working in the packing plants, their specialized skill set is processing these animals, and we can't be successful without them.
You mentioned about how farmers are so resilient, and specifically pork producers are resilient. They are planners and they figure out a way to innovate and change. I imagine against this backdrop of difficulty, there's still a sense of pride. Share that with me.
Sure. It's been great to see pork producers respond to this crisis, because on one hand, people could sit back and just say, woe is me, and they would certainly be justified in that, because this is a very serious situation, and has created a lot of problems on farms. But um, you know pork producers are a fairly resilient bunch. We've been through a lot over the years, and anyone who's been raising pigs for any length of time has been through quite a few ups and downs, and has stories to tell about that. But in the face of this current crisis, as producers have been stuck with too many pigs backed up on their farms, they've been creative. They've collaborated. They've gone on Facebook and found new homes for some of their pigs. They've worked with food pantries. They've made connections in states on the other side of the country to try to do whatever they can to get as many of these pigs into the food supply as possible. And it's just been very encouraging to see farmers reaching out and looking to help others in their communities, even as they are dealing with so many issues on their farms. And that to me, that just shows the character of the folks who are involved in pork production in Iowa. I'm constantly amazed by the pork producers I meet, and just to hear their stories of what they've been through, and how much they care about their community where they live and work. It's just we've got a lot of special people in the pork industry in Iowa.
Mike Paustian, thank you so much for joining us today. Mike Paustian, president of the Iowa Pork Producers Association, a sixth generation farmer from Scott County. Thank you.
You're welcome.